Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Stratosphere Lounge. So be quiet. You too. I'm your host, Bill Whittle, and it's great to be here on Thursday, the 8th of September, 2022. I hope everybody's doing well. A few hours ago, we found out we lost Queen Elizabeth today. The It's strange how much that actually affected me in a way because I never particularly felt close to Queen Elizabeth, but my mom was the exact same size as she was, same measurements too, according to my mom, and and they were very nearly the same age, a couple years apart. But the main thing is, ever since, I went to kindergarten in Bermuda, so I sang "God Save the Queen" every day until I was 12, I guess, every weekday anyway. And I think we did a show on this not too long ago, where she's the only, not just the only world leader. I think she's the only person I could think of who's still got the same job since I was born. So so that's something else. They're going to have a bit of a, as we hear in America, there's going to be a bit of a pronoun problem in England for a while. Overnight, the national anthem of Great Britain is "God Save Our Gracious King." It's going to take some getting used to if you've sung it as many times as I have, and I've only sung it for the first quarter of my life. But yeah, I always found her to be a little distant, obviously, but nevertheless, she's just been a fixture. And I know my mom, if she were still alive, would be very sad. I'm sure my uncle is, and everybody else. And Prince Charles III it's got King Charles III. It's got kind of a strange sound to it. Charleses have not done well as kings. King Charles I was executed. King Charles II, with the Restoration, was not exactly, you know, Alfred the Great. But yeah, and I mean, really, if you think, there is, in fact, strangely enough, well, maybe not strangely enough, there's an awful lot of actual physical mechanical handwork that has to be done now. And it'll probably have to be done again relatively soon. All the post office boxes in London, at least they used to be, round red boxes with ER on it for Elizabeth Regina. And now those all have to be changed from ER to CR. And in the not too distant future, they'll have to be changed from CR to WR. All of Her Majesty's ships are now His Majesty's ships. All of this stuff has to change. But I think I know we did this on a show not too terribly long ago. The silver whatever it was, silver diamond jubilee, whatever, the 70th anniversary, that thing she did with Paddington the bear humanized her so much more than I think just about anything I'd ever seen. But we it's somebody just pointed out in the comment section, it really is the end of a kind of an era. And I have to say also, I'm very proud of our country's response and all of the words of condolences from around the world and so on. Yeah, Marisha said it also affects the Aussies and the Canadians, the Bermudians, and everybody. She's on the money. That's going to have to change. In fact, I saw something earlier today that said something to the effect of, yes, we'll still honor the money with her on it. I don't know if the fact that her being on the money, I believe she was the first member of the royal family to be on the money. Ed Smith says he thinks that the royal family is kaput now. I would agree with you if it had been just Charles, because Charles is really barking mad. And it's hard to blame Charles for being barking mad too. But I got to tell you, I think Prince William and Kate are terrific. You can't just eliminate the royal family from Britain. It is there. It's not just a figurehead position. That's a good point. George, Lady Hawk says George was on our coins. I guess she's the only monarch to be on paper money. there is no British Constitution, British Constitution. There isn't any. Nobody can really define what the power of the king or queen really is. The great crisis in British government would be if the king or queen absolutely insisted something against something that Parliament absolutely insisted on. Then I think Parliament wins. I think that's what the British Civil War showed. That line, by the way, goes back unbroken, except for Oliver Cromwell. That period, I don't know what it was, 11 years or something. There was a period when there was no king or queen in England. Anyway, it's just something to lead off with. But yeah, it's going to be hard to sing, send him victorious, hand him victorious, happy and glorious, I think. Long to reign over us. God save the king. Anyway, they could have done a lot worse. German family, by the way, the Windsors, brought over after. Let's see if I get this right. So there was the King Charles was executed, and King James came back with the Restoration. Sorry, Charles II, and somewhere in here was what's called the Glorious Revolution. Well, William of Orange, basically a Dutch prince, married a British daughter, and they ruled together as William and Mary, and that kind of got us into the reign of the Georges and so on. But the Windsors are relatively new, and anyway, who knows? It was obviously the golden age of the royal family was a time there when all of Europe was ruled by descendants of Queen Victoria, King George V, Tsar Nicholas II, Kaiser Wilhelm. They were all cousins. So anyway, a lot of people have been saying that this is the biggest anti-left protest ever in history. It happened in Brazil. I was hoping you could comment on it, but Her Majesty obfuscated all news. I had not heard about the largest anti-left protest in history, but I am very concerned about anti-left protests here, and any kind of anti-leftism. I was really sure that we were just waltzing away with these things, and now I just want to see what's. Yeah, there's been a slight uptick in the last couple days for the Republicans. They're still looking real good for the House, and I'll go back to this betting pool because, again, we've talked a little bit about some of the faults with that. I'm not going to put these numbers up. Yeah, it stopped cratering anyway, the numbers, so I don't know. That may have something to do with Joe Biden's speech, which I put up, I think I put up earlier this morning. It took me a while to. It doesn't take long to edit it. It probably took me an hour, about an hour to sync up the 4-hour. My picture locked up here? Because it's looking locked up on my end. Let me do a little thing. Hello. Alrighty. Well, I don't know what to do about that. Are you guys seeing my image locked up? Yep. Great. Great. Okay. What's causing that, I wonder? Hang on. It's not helping my mood much, honestly. Hang on. Hang on. Unplug you. Plug you back in. No. Crisp is something I downloaded to do something or other, sharpen an image or something, and it has completely botched up my system. So I'm gonna I've already tried to get rid of it. I'll try and get back rid of it again. Yeah, I'm going to turn the AC on again if you don't mind. It's 103 when I got in the car to drive over here half an hour ago. So anyway, you've probably noticed by now I'm just in a kind of a not exactly in a pissy mood. I've been in pissy moods before. I got to tell you, I don't know what else to do other than tell you, I am so incapacitated. That's the only word for it. I'm well past burned out. I'm just plain incapacitated. It takes more and more effort to do less and less and less, and I don't know what to do about it. I think a vacation actually would be nice, but to be honest with you, I am just pretty scared because I am tired all the time, and there's so many things that I need to be doing and normally want to be doing. Thank you very much for the kind words in the comment section there. And I'm just, yeah, cortisol again. I've been under a lot of stress. I took a big emotional hit 3 weeks ago, so 4 weeks ago or something. I don't think I've really recovered from that. So I don't know what to do about it. I really don't know what to do about it. I have had a lot of people say that their friends feel the same way. All of Natasha's friends feel the same way. And yeah, I don't know what to. I don't know why so many people are so tired. Obviously, I don't know if it's got anything to do with COVID, but it's not just tired. It's like I don't even. It's not even a question of not answering emails anymore. It's like I don't even want to open the emails. I don't even want to look at them because I don't feel like I can deal with them, and that's really unusual for me. I don't think it's the heat. I think it's. I was talking with Natasha about this just before I came over, and she's obviously been aware of it. She's feeling the same kind of thing too. I think the best expression was, I think I'm just overwhelmed. I'm just overwhelmed with things. Hi Taylor. Yeah, I'm on Twitch and I should be on YouTube as well. I just haven't had the ability to come in and do anything about it. So do I open emails? Yes, I open emails, but I haven't for 4 or 5 days now or something. And every time I think about it, it makes me nervous. Am I getting enough exercise? I'm actually on a scale of 1 to 10 on exercise. I would say. I was actually thinking about this. What would a negative number actually look like? I don't know. Quibo says retire from politics and focus on CGI and fun stuff. That would be lovely. That would probably do a bit. But it's just, I think Natasha got it right. It's just like overwhelming. So I did these animations, and I'm trying to keep this separate in a will from the pop culture stuff we do on Monday nights. But I started building this centrifuge, for one of these new ships, started kit bashing that together. I really liked it, put a fair amount of time into it, and then I realized it's not textured, and there are something like, I don't know, 700-800 individual pieces in there. And now it's like, okay, so do I have to texture this? I can't do it myself. Then I have to find somebody online. Most of the people I find online, I end up hiring, and 2 weeks go by, and it's just not good. And honestly, GK Masterson starts to wonder if they're putting something in the water. It's how it feels, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's how it feels. This is why Dave Rubin does a month of tech withdrawal each year, says Marusha. Well, that would be lovely. I cannot remember the last vacation I've had. I certainly can't remember being away more than a week. I can't remember. The last time I can think for sure was I went to Cancun for 3 days, 4 days in 2019. So that's coming up on 3 years, I guess. So a lot of people are very kind of saying, take a month off. I know that Instapundit takes a couple weeks off. Maybe that's it. maybe I just need to take a week or two off. But I mean, I can certainly get Zoe to do the right angles, and I can get Scott to do Scott and Zoe to do the virtue signals. Uh, so yeah, a lot of people saying take the time off. The hard thing about this is, it's not just I took time off with COVID. That's right. That was my vacation. Thank you, week. I forgot. I knew there was some vacation in there somewhere. That's right. I took 2 weeks off, and there you go. Um, and there's great advice too from Fidel saying, do what Shapiro does, turn off the electronics every day for like 1 week. And Eric wants to know, do you think the tensions in November are getting closer and closer? All this stuff. It just, that's an awful lot of it, to be honest with you. It's just the atmosphere. It's just the the despair of it, one of the reasons why I put off getting that last week's Stratosphere Lounge, the 4.5 hour epic. One of the reasons it took me a week to get that up was because I just didn't have the emotional strength to watch that Joe Biden thing again. But I had to watch it again to sync it up and put it in a little box in the corner. And it just makes me ill. It makes me angry. It makes me sad. It makes me ashamed. It makes me enraged. But more than anything, is it just really eats me alive to be slandered like that. It's like when the Media Matters put together a Bill Whittle scientific racist thing. It's like, just to hear that man talking about it's the MAGA Republicans who choose street violence and don't respect the vote, and it's the MAGA Republicans that are the ones who simply cannot tell the truth, and just the magnitude and the audacity of it. And not only that, it's like I don't have faith anymore that they're ever going to get justice, And what's even worse than that is that not only do I think that we're not going to get justice, that these people aren't going to go to jail the way they need to. Not only that, but there is so much evidence there. There's just so much evidence. So I don't know. Marisha says, Bill, you've been making a lot of withdrawals of emotion and willpower, but what are you doing depositing back into that bank to revive and refresh you? I'm borrowing is what I'm doing, Marisha, and every time I have a bill that comes due, I have to borrow more money to pay back the people, to pay back the emotion and willpower that I owe. It's not a pleasant feeling, and I'm not kidding about that either. It's just a escalating thing, and I'm sorry to turn this into a pity party, in a therapy session where you got to talk to somebody, I guess. The thing that is the most distressing about it is, for the first time in my life, everything I wanted to do is, maybe this is connected to it, I don't know, it's laying at my feet just waiting for me to pick it up, and I cannot find the energy to put in a 6-hour day. I come in the morning, I do 3 hours, I'm done, I go home and sleep. I don't know. There's no question exercise. There's a lot of it. And I have not gotten any exercise at all in a long time. We used to go out for walks every third night. Now it's every 2 weeks. Eric says he's feeling that a lot of Natasha's friends, as I mentioned, feel it. Do half of what you're capable of. I feel like if I do everything I'm capable of, it's still not enough. Anyway, Go to a cold state, dip into the ice water after the sauna, feel alive again. I got to tell you, I like the idea of going to a cold state. I like the idea of going someplace cold. The problem is, uh, my wife is from Siberia, and she doesn't, she's not too crazy about that. When is the last time I flew? Well, suspect that has something to do with it. That's another thing I'm amazed and ashamed about. To say that my medical has expired and my proficiency has expired is to understate the case. Last time I flew an airplane that was under my own control was January 29th of 2017. 5.5 years. So, and that's not going to do it because the reason that I let that atrophy is because Natasha's never once said ever once said a word about it, but I can tell it makes her crazy nervous. And yeah, let's see. Uh, do I even do Flight Simulator? I'd like to, Dave. I'd like to do all this stuff. There's just so much. There's so much to do. And now I've got a new 7-part series to do for Daily Wire, which I'm supposed to deliver a script a week. I don't, for the life of me, know how I'm going to do that. I don't know. And there you go. So I've got to do 7 episodes on the Soviet terror masters. This isn't stuff that I can write out of a real strong background like I did with Apollo and stuff. This requires some research, so I don't know what to do. I know, and this is the cycle. It's like the more inefficient I get, the more I worry about it, and the more I worry about it, the more inefficient I get. Need to do a huge membership drive and hire someone to do a lot of the admin stuff for BillWhittle.com. Well, thank you for all of the kind words here. Yeah, thank you. You're all very kind, and not only kind. I believe this is not only good advice. I think it's honest advice. This is my problem, my internal problem. Thanks, Eric. I don't think I'll do the ice bucket challenge, but that's because it would probably do me some good. I think what it is. I just think that whole thing just feels so precarious, just generally anyway, that if I walk away from it for a week, I'm, going to have 7 members left. But this isn't doing any good. So, I don't know. I'll have to think it over. Again, all of you, thank you so much for the kind words. I really, really genuinely appreciate it. I haven't had any fun in a long time, That's really it. But the magnitude. I was talking about the centrifuge thing. It looks great, and it's like, it's like just to get a test demo done. The amount of work texturing this thing, and then there's the whole awesome deep fake stuff. And when I look at trying to learn that stuff, my brain just bounces off. It's like I just can't put any more in there. I just can't. I can't put any more in there. Not right now. Do a Shakespeare special for the lounge last week. That's a nice idea, Eric. Thank you. As I recall, that was the least. I've never seen an audience pay less attention than during the Shakespeare special. That was when the comment section was talking about, duck hunting. So, Anyway, I'm just thought I'd get that out. I know I don't know what the details are for Doomcock, but Doomcock has been through some rough times. He still pounds them out. We'll figure it out. All right. Well, anyway, thank you again for your kind support. So I have to go pick up my cat in about an hour, a little less than an hour. So why don't we go do some questions at billwhittle.com, and then we will see about see if we can get to Facebook in time. Yeah, I'm just stressed. I'm stressed. All right, here we go. Log in. All right, here we go. I've been reading so much I don't even hesitate to put the glasses on anymore now. It's like I can't see anything. That's really frustrating too. Oh, okay. 83 topics. Hopefully that's for all of them. Okay, good. So for today, only 7 posts. So we should be able to at least get through that before I have to go pick up my cat. He hates going to the vet, and I despise doing it. He just howls, but he needs to go, and so there's that. All right, so here we go. We'll start with G.K. Masterson. Let's start this. Only one question this week, but it's a doozy. Do you think that a new civil war is inevitable, or that at this point, or is there still time to prevent it? Okay, I was wrong. 2 questions. What are your thoughts on the death of Queen Elizabeth II? Well, I think we answered the second one first. Look, again, the Civil War issue, I'll just speak, plainly about this. There are times when, like during Biden's speech, when I just wanted to just start loading the AR, Couldn't do that because it's at the bottom of a lake, but that's what I wanted to do. And I know that that's what it's intended to do. I know that's the purpose of it, is to get all of us insane, is to accuse all of us of this kind of thing. Oh, come on. See, I got 2 of them with the same power control, so if I'm not aiming carefully, one goes on, the other goes off. So I know it's what they're doing. I know it's why they're doing it. I know they're doing it on purpose. What's the matter with the focus? What is going on here? Is that just me without the glasses? No, that's a focus problem. Sure. And I'm ashamed of this too, This I mean, oh, there we go. It's almost like it's a bad joke, this stuff. I just plain erased the week before I erased the file for the backstage show. I just put it in the trash and emptied the trash because I was low on disk space. We did Stratosphere, we did Virtue Signal last week. 2 really hot takes on issues. It's an hour and a half, and when we're done, I get a call saying, "Hey, I didn't record it." And I know that sounds like we're not paying attention or being careful. We really are. Zoe was feeling awful about it. I was feeling awful about it. Scott has had times. Steve has had times. I've had my share of times, and when I was talking to Zoe about it, I said, "Man, it's very difficult to prepare." It's very clever, Edward. I'll read that aloud in a second. It's very difficult to prepare to be on camera and do the off-camera stuff too, because when you're getting ready to go on, what am I going to say? What's the point I'm trying to make? Where are we going to steer this conversation? And glance over here, and he glances over there, and that's why they have engineers. It'd be lovely to have engineers, but we can't afford engineers. So there you go. Edward Smith says about the focusing. Life is trying to tell you, Bill. You've been focusing so much you cannot keep focus. Well, that's great. Anyway, forgot what the question is. Why don't I go back and look? Civil War. So yeah, so I feel it, and I'm supposed to feel it, and I know what they want. They want us to have some violent actions that will allow them to convince the military and the police that we are in fact a domestic threat, and then that is the goal. They want they want some violence so that they can really crack down with their thing. I don't I don't even know what to think about this anymore. Like I said, I don't believe a civil war is possible. I mean, even in the bluest neighborhoods, 1 in 4 or 5 houses is conservative, and in the reddest neighborhoods, 1 in 4 or 5 houses are liberal. That's across the country. It's not like the Civil War where you had the Mason-Dixon line and you had most of the people on either side of a geographical thing, and when the shooting started, people moved. There's no way. I would like. David Booty says he just saw a picture of Charles III in a Burger King crown, and now my life is complete. I just don't see any way for it to happen. And furthermore, I don't see any world where I just cannot imagine a world. Well, I said that before too. I still think we're a long, long, long way from where our own soldiers or police or troops could fire on our own people. I'm not saying that it couldn't happen. I'm saying that I think the reaction to it would be pretty overwhelming. I'll tell you what I want. I don't want a civil war. I don't. I just want to get away from them. What I want is I want the left to get everything that it wants. I want it to have the world that it is going for. I want it to have the world that it is trying to bring about. I want it to have all of the things that it's aiming for, and I want them to have it someplace else. So that's what I want. I want a laboratory is what I want. I want a border. I don't think you need a civil war. I want a border. And I want to be able to say, you guys go ahead and live the way you want to live, and you keep electing these soft on crime DAs and all the rest of it, and we'll sit over here where everybody's armed, and we'll do our thing, and you do your thing, and you put all the regulations you want on things in order to raise the minimum wage and all that jazz, and we're going to live over here free, and then we're going to have these two social experiments side by side, and we'll see which way the rafts are going. And they're going to go the same way that they always go. They're going to go from the socialist to the capitalist. They're going to do exactly that. But this is it. This is like the cycle. This is the thing I cannot escape. You've got people who make things work. Then that prosperity and security makes people into selfish, self-important, narcissistic D-bags who then, instead of just trying to make their own selves comfortable, because that's impossible, they have to tell everybody else what to do, and then they make enough of a mess so that the people who are good at things go and leave, and they go somewhere else and they start something else. And at first it's hard and it's uncomfortable, and that means that these lunatics don't want to go, until finally the people who work hard have made another place absolutely working, absolutely great, and then they come over again and they screw it all up again. And I don't know what to do. I don't know how to forget all the work that I do. Forget all of that, right? I don't know how people can still believe in this stuff after that. You have the example of the Florida Strait, where all the rafts are moving one way, 100%. Not 99% and 1%. Nobody's going the other way. 100%. 100% of people that went over the Berlin Wall were going from the east to the west. 100%. 100% of people who are moving who are crossing the border at nighttime and risking getting arrested or shot. Nobody's doing that. No American citizens are doing that to sneak into Mexico. It's 100% the other way. And what does it take for you to believe this stuff? And the more and more and more I become, the thing that scares me the most is not the thing that scares me the most is not the police state. It's not the economy. It's not China. It's not anything. The thing that really, 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 really scares me is how stupid this generation is becoming, the millennials and the Gen Zs, how unbelievably stupid they are. And I was going to go with uneducated, but I've seen uneducated people, and uneducated people want to be educated. I don't know what's going on now, but one of the things that you could find about either about Africa or about some of the Arabic countries, places where schooling wasn't available, what you found, India, that kind of thing, you found was when a school would open, these uneducated people would race down there and they would spend as much time as possible and they would just soak it up soak it up. An education, my God, yes, and the classrooms would be packed with people, packed, trying to get an education. And now these people are anti-educated. This isn't just it. Lady Hawk said the man on the street can't tell you who was the first president. That was shocking 4 years ago, Lady Hawk. Now they cannot tell you the name of the United States capital. They cannot name what somebody asked somebody, name 3 countries other than the United States. Not find them on a map, just name 3. They couldn't do it. They couldn't name one. They don't know what the capital is. They don't know when the United States got its independence. They don't know anything about anything. Nothing. And yes, we are living in the rat paradise experiment. Coconut ED5 wins the internet for the day. For those of you not familiar with it, and I'm not terribly familiar with it, they basically created behavioral scientists took a pretty large area and they turned it into rat paradise. They made it filled with the kind of things where the rats could burrow their own little places and have safe nests, put all the food and the water down there they wanted to. They didn't put too many in there, and they put this whole kind of colony of rats into this rat paradise, and the rats just loved it. And after 2 or 3 or 4 generations, they were not having sex with each other, they were eating each other, they were constantly at war, constantly fighting. This is just what happens. Natasha told me about an experiment that I'd never seen before, but here it is. They they took they took hundreds and hundreds of fleas and put them into what looks essentially like a relatively small beaker, right? Bigger than a petri dish, but not as tall as a real beaker, but about half a beaker. They put the fleas in there, and then they put a cover on it. So the fleas would jump and jump and jump, and then they'd hit the cover. And I don't know how long it takes. I want to say it was 3 days or something. But after 3 days, they removed the cover, and the fleas would not jump. They would jump, but they'd only jump as high as where the cover used to be. They would not jump out of the thing. It took 3 or 4 days for these fleas to realize that escape was pointless, and then they gave up. And what's even more horrifying is apparently that was passed on to future generations of fleas, that there was no social proof that you could jump higher than where the lid had been. And I saw a video for this, and it's just kind of weird seeing this little black cloud of fleas just jumping, 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 and then hitting this invisible top, So there you go. Eric says there are a lot of conservative millennials. I'm sure that's true. I think there are fewer. I used to have a lot of confidence in Gen Z, but I've been watching an awful lot. I can't take anymore because it's really good, and because this is not helping my mood any. But I've talked a little bit about this channel called Odin's Men, where he basically I think he's a former Marine. He just basically watches TikToks and criticizes them and stuff. And of all the things on there, I am blown away at the number of teachers that are at the quality of the teachers that are actually hired and in teaching positions. And you see these videos of these people bragging about how they're going to get around the Florida law and they're going to find some way to work in this whole trans thing. And you look inside the classroom and the American flag is down because the teacher finds that problematic. But there's a Black Lives Matter flag. There's a gay pride flag. There's the trans flag, and I don't know how anybody keeps their kids in that school. And to be honest with you, the one thing that I still don't see, I can't believe there's such a market for this. Where is the alternative? Where's the alternative? People talk about private schools and so on. Why don't we have? See, this is the thing, right? The left is committed to wrecking this country, and the right is not committed to defending it. And I'd love to tell you that that this is a limited perspective, but this has been my experience for 15, 20 years now. The left will put their money where their mouth is, and the right doesn't. And what I mean by that in this particular case is we should have a parallel free school system. Nothing is free. So that means that there should be conservatives who step up voluntarily, not as a tax, and pay for a parallel school system that is privately owned. We do the same thing to the left that they do to us on YouTube and TikTok and Twitter and all the rest of it. This is a private school. This is our private property. We're not teaching people how to be conservatives. We're teaching them how to add. We're teaching them world history. We're teaching them economics, which of course will make them conservatives, but we don't have to teach them politics because our politics is based on reality. We're going to teach them how to deal with the world. So why don't we have a parallel school system for this? Why is it that there are people still going to these schools when everybody knows that all that's happening in these schools now, they don't know the name of the capital of the United States. They don't know what year the United States was founded. They cannot name 3 countries other than this one, and half of them can't name this one. 12 Temple says it's called homeschool. Yes, but homeschooling is not a solution. It's a band-aid. Homeschooling is incredibly difficult. I mean, Cody says homeschooling is cheap, effective, and it prevents socialist brainwashing. However, it requires a lot of time and investment. People don't want to do that. Yes, the parents can barely afford the time and the effort. The kids don't get to socialize as much as they want to. Why is there not a parallel school system, a parallel free school system, something along the lines of Hillsdale College? Why is that? Right? Why? And when I say free, it has to be free or nearly free because otherwise people can't afford it. What would it cost, I wonder? What would it cost? I'd be very curious to know. If I was Elon Musk or somebody like that, of course I won't be, but would it cost $2 billion, $3, $4 billion, $5 billion a year? Who knows? I don't know. Less, more? You rent some office space, you hire people, you have standards, you have a curriculum, you have the curriculum peer approved by peer reviewed by people who understand history, understand all of this stuff, and if something's problematic, then you debate it and before you give it to the kids. And the one thing you don't do is you don't protect the kids from ideas. You give them all the ideas you want to. Here, you want to know what socialism is? This is what the socialists say socialism is. So now let's talk about it. Let's take it apart. So we got a few vouchers, school choice, student unions. Bob Knife says, but Bob, the political power that they have is so large that I don't know what to say about it. Political Animal 7 says, as a homeschooler, the not enough socializing is a feature, not a bug. Do you get to hang out with friends on that? I mean, in the real world, Political Animal? And when you say you're homeschooled, does that mean just you, or is it you and a group of people? I'm just curious. From Roger Ramjet 70s, Roger Ramjet, excuse me, what a cool name, Roger Ramjet 59, and probably an excellent year too. Yep, a friend of mine went out to dinner with his wife. He was wearing a 1776 hat. The waitress asked if that year was special. Khan Academy and Learn Liberty are free. Are they online things? Because that's not school. These are band-aids. They're band-aids. They're not solutions. And we don't want to pay for the solutions. Because not only would we have our own kids do well, but all of these hopeless lost kids in inner cities would have something to actually, believe about. I'm homeschooling my children. We have a group of families. Okay. Well, that's great. And look, I'm not criticizing homeschooling. I'm not. When I say it's a band-aid, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that it's hard, and there should be a way to make this accessible for more people. And that's it. Roger Ramjet 59 says, I'm 6 days older than you are, Bill. Were you born on April 1st, my man? Are you an April Fool's baby? Or are you March 31st kind of guy. Interesting. Did I give away too much? Um, anyway, Hillsdale is setting up 30 charter schools in Tennessee at the request of the governor. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. I did a fundraiser for Hillsdale, man, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago now, something like that, maybe a little more. Political Animal says I consider public schools to be child abuse and a death sentence. Correct. That's exactly right. They're either gonna be failures who are going to work at minimum wage for the rest of their lives, or they're going to commit suicide, or they're going to do any of it. Um, Look further into the Khan Academy. Okay, it's an odd choice of a name, but sure. Um, but Hillsdale. So I did this fundraiser for Hillsdale, and I adore Hillsdale. I adore it. Um, but there was a discussion going on about why isn't Hillsdale all over the place? And what I recall was the guy who was basically in control of Hillsdale did not want to franchise this out, basically wanted to keep Hillsdale. And I thought, my God, we should have a Hillsdale on every corner. You know? Salman Khan. Okay. All right. Um, if I was going to name something that I wanted to attract people to, I wouldn't name it the Whittle Institute. But I'm not trying to take anything away from them. I'm sure they're doing great work. But it's not enough. And it's no longer even a question of, my God, how stupid are they compared to China or India or any of these places, Japan. Now it's a question of they are getting to be so stupid that they are going to believe whatever anybody tells them, and they already do. This is what you do when you're a left winger. You not only have to have complete power. If you have to ruin society to get it, that's fine. If you have to steal an education from 2 generations, that's fine. If you have to cripple people to lives of slavery and dependence, no problem. Anything that you have to do in order to get what you want, you get. And that is the essence of their philosophy, and why we are not saying that every single freaking second of every single day. You know? Hillary Clinton is willing to destroy lives, have people murdered. And I don't mean people like Epstein. I mean the 8,000 black people that are murdered every year in cities run by Democrats. She's simply, absolutely committed to her own power, and nothing else matters. And the same thing for Gavin Newsom, the same thing for everybody else. Was it Babylon Bee? I read somewhere today that the California energy crisis will be solved soon enough because half the people living in California move to Florida. Then there'll be plenty of energy for everybody. Um, so, I'm sounding demoralized in the Soviet sense. A lot of people in the West I used to listen to are sounding like that too. Well, it's temporary, Cody, because I'll get back in the saddle and fight them again. But I keep coming back to this. Even if it were possible for me to be viewed by everybody in the country, right? If you could get me 300 million views so that every single American in the country watched the stuff I do, it still wouldn't be effective as is, because it's just words. Um, uh, I did. My God, I can't even remember the shows I did 2 days ago now. I did a show where I said, oh, yeah, I remember. I did a show. I did a right angle on that commercial from Citizens for Sanity that basically says, here's what America looks like now. And you see these people being, cars run into them, and mobs ransacking stores, and little old ladies being punched in the face and all this other stuff. And I started that by saying, everybody knows the expression of picture's worth 1,000 words. What a miserable lie that is. That may be the biggest lie in history. A picture's not worth 1,000 words. A picture's not worth 1,000,000 words. I could sit here and give you 10 million words on the Grand Canyon, and none of it would be anything close to what one picture of the Grand Canyon could do for you. So again, I could talk and 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 all the words and so on, but it's nothing compares to the power of being able to show people this is what the world would look like if you got those people out of your hair. And I am just at the footsteps of getting it done, and now all of a sudden, more than ever, I'm like, I just can't, I can't swing this, bat anymore. Bill, may I politely recommend? You can politely recommend anything. Thank you for saying so. The song, listening to the song "Rise" by Disturbed, excellent for getting in the mood of accomplishing something and dispelling fatigue. I used to use it as my phone's alarm sound. "Rise" by Disturbed. Well, the only way I get to remember anything these days is to actually open a separate tab, drag it off someplace, and then put it over there. So let me do that right now. Sorry, hang on. Because I'll take any advice I can get here. Stop at you. There it is. I'm going to listen to it now. I'm just curious. Did I get the right one? Okay. Oh, it looks great. So I will peel this off and I will try to listen to it as soon as this show's over. I'll listen to it on the way back. So, did I just freeze up again? I open a new window and the picture freezes. I obviously need to reboot this, and I'm not going to do that now, but I also obviously need to give this thing a real thorough virus check. Hang on. I'm going to do the thing again. Hang on. Just like that. Come on. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. This con thing, Crisp killed my machine. Pick it up, you bastard. I'm sorry. Stay with us here. Come on, camera. Really? You're going to do this to me? All right. Well, this may be my software trying to tell me something. Hang on, I'm going to try one more thing, and if that doesn't work, then I will give it a go. Hang on a minute. Everybody stay there. Hang on a second. Have I fired a machine gun lately? No. I'd like to fire a machine gun very much. In fact, since the box is really hot, the computer's really hot, I think, because the air conditioning's off. And we're listening to the sounds of silence here. Let's see what we got. I'd rather have no picture and sound than sound and no picture. I'll try this one more time. Let's see. Video. Excuse me. Properties. There's my camera. I want the crisp camera. I want the... I don't know what the hell's going on. Hang on. Yeah, I have to tell you, I think the computer is overheating. I really do think that's what it is. Because I can't even get QuickTime to work now. One more try, and then we're gonna call it an early nights. Okay, so there's the camera. Camera's working. I got it on QuickTime, and now I go back to OBS, and I go to the properties. You know what? I'm going to delete this video capture device, and I'm going to add another one. You go away. Go. Add Video capture device. Okay. Discard. Device. Brio. Okay. Rescale. Some of you have said I can turn the air conditioning on. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're getting serious complaints about the sound. That's another thing. It's just that's something else to worry about. Because what I'd really like to do is I'd like to redo the studio. It's been like this since 2014. Oh, come on. All right. Okay. Um, so here's what we're going to do, kids. I'm going to have to call this a night. I'm sorry about that. But I have, I'm going to have to be going in about 15, 20 minutes anyway. So I'm just going to call this one what it pop smoke. God bless you very much, Big House. Yes, it's time to pop smoke and wait for the evac. That's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna pop smoke. I'm gonna confirm that it's purple smoke, and then I'm getting the hell out of here. You guys are terrific. I wish you could see the smile on my face. Thanks to all of you. Sorry about the short show, but there it is. I felt like I should come in and do something anyway. So this show has been made possible by the members of BillWhittle.com, who are not responsible for any technical errors, problems, overheating, or anything else that might be caused by forces beyond our limited control. And with that sour expression on my face there, I am going to go pick up my cat now. And I will see you guys on Monday night, and I'm hoping I'll be feeling a lot better then. I'm sure I will be. And as always, thank you not only for the support from the members, but also for the very, very kind words in the comment section. And if I didn't get to your question, which is pretty much all of you, I will do my best to get it next time. And between now and then, I will do a lot of work trying to get this thing sorted out. All right. Thanks. We'll see you next time right here on the Stratosphere Lounge.